Hi, I'm Kathleen Roy, and this is my good friend Elizabeth Froelich. And we're here today because I have launched a YouTube channel that is going to deal with women who inspire others, inspirational women. I thought it would be appropriate for this time and climate of change for women and women who are trying to do the best that they can do and are very committed to quality work and have overcome obstacles. I met Elizabeth at school. We both went to NYFA. We were in various classes together, and she just impressed me as being a young woman who was really determined and committed to her work. And also, as I got to know her, I realized she had overcome a lot just to get here. I mean, she's young, and you wouldn't think someone young has gone through so much, but she has. So, Elizabeth, I'd love for you to tell us a little bit about what was going on with you when you were a teen or a young woman and what you did to cope at that age in your life.
I mean, growing up, I didn't know what was wrong. Like, I didn't know what social anxiety was. It wasn't something that was discussed, especially I went to a small Catholic school, so that was like, you know, if you had a problem, you prayed about it, and, you know, that's fine. I wouldn't be who I am today without that school. But yeah, growing up I had these issues where I felt really uncomfortable around a lot of people, or I felt all of a sudden in some place that I felt safe, I felt scared and fearful. And I really didn't know how to cope with it, and I didn't know what to deal with it because I was having, at the time I didn't know, but I was having panic attacks where I would cry and freak out, I couldn't breathe, or there's another side of panic attacks where it's just like you shut down and you can't talk, or you space out and you don't hear what people are saying. And I only had one teacher growing up who didn't tell me she understood what was going on with me, but she took care of me. In 5th grade, I would get scared and pretend I had a stomach ache, and I would leave class and go home, and she caught on, and instead of having me leave class and instead of explaining to me what was happening, she would just take me to her desk and I would do my work over with her and eat some crackers or whatever. And she gave me advice going into 6th grade, which was, you know, you have to push through. You can't let the fear overcome you. And that was, I mean, I was only 11, and I still didn't understand, and I still dealt with a lot of stuff, but that always resonated with me, was like, you can't let the fear overcome you. You know, you can take a moment and sit back and say, I'm having a panic attack, or I'm having anxiety, or I'm scared, or this is not the environment for me right now. But take a breath and take time and then move forward. And that's ultimately, I mean, why I left Florida and came out here. Yeah.
That's a lot for a child to have to cope with.
Yeah, I had no idea what was happening until I was about 18 or 19. Yeah.
And then didn't you tell me that for high school you did an online?
I did freshman year. So I went from the small Catholic school to a very large public school in my town, and I mean, I was having panic attacks every morning before school, during school, after school. I didn't want to talk to anyone because there was so much. The problem with social anxiety that a lot of people don't understand is it's not just I'm afraid of people. That's not the problem, clearly. It's the energy. I take on all the energies of the people around me, and so I went from 50 people in my class to 900 people in my class. And there was a lot of different energies and a lot of different people, a lot of different backgrounds, and everybody's 14 and trying to figure out their lives as a hormonal teenager. So I was taking on all that energy, and it would freak me out to no extent. And so finally I asked my mom, you know, if I could switch to virtual school and do it online. So that's what I did, and it proved to be very helpful. I mean, my grades got better, I was more focused, I was calmer, and I was able to work on myself and do activities outside of school. I was still involved in theater and acting and going to other classes, but I didn't have to be surrounded by so many people and an environment that was detrimental to my growth as a person. And not everyone is meant to be in that big of a school or in that environment. You can't force someone to do something that's hindering them. So I'm thankful that my mom recognized that and let me try something different.
And that you're able to find a way to get your education.
Yeah, and not have to worry. Yeah, the virtual school was amazing because I was taking 7 classes. I had 7 teachers, and I could call them if I had problems.
Oh, nice.
You could call them, email them. They were there for you. Did a test once a month on the phone, make sure you weren't cheating, and all of that. So that was really great because I got to, I got to do the normal school thing without having to be in an environment that was causing so much pressure on my heart and on my brain. And just in growing as being a teenager sucks as it begins with. So then on top of it, like, and taking on everybody else's suckage, like, that wasn't fair.
Oh no!
Yeah, so I'm very lucky too that my mom allowed, because a lot of kids don't have the opportunity to learn on their own what's going on in their head. And my mom was very much, as long as I was getting my education, it didn't matter where I was getting it.
Oh, that's so great.
Yeah, as long as I was learning.
So then tell me about how you were able to make this decision to come all the way from Florida to Los Angeles to a school that was, as we know, NYFA involves people from all over the world.
Right.
And it's small, but it's not small.
Right, yeah, there's 2 things that there's 2 reasons. I loved the idea of NYFA because it was different, which I always love different. And it was a smaller school, but with so many other countries and so many other cultures, and it was a great learning experience. But the only reason that I even applied to colleges was actually because of the TV show Boy Meets World. So, because I used to watch that reruns every day, and I was struggling because I was like, been doing virtual school. I wanted to get an education, but at the same time I was like, I knew I wanted to be an actor and musician. You don't really need a degree for that. You just need to know what you're doing. And so I was struggling with, should I apply, should I not, in my senior year. And on Boy Meets World, Eric, the older brother, he was literally having the same problems I was having. And he decided, I'm going to take the SATs anyway, because I was terrible at testing. I was like, I'm not going to pass. This is just stupid. I'm not going to get into any colleges. And he took it and he passed and he went to college and he was happy. And I was like, and he had the same similar problems. People looked at him weird because he was different, and I really related to that. And I was like, okay, what's the most actor thing I can do? Follow a TV show and choose to do my life off of that course. But it worked, and I'm very thankful for Boy Meets World. But in general, having the opportunity to come out here and go to a small school, because like I go to visit my sister at her campus, and I'm like, I would never have been able to survive a normal college experience.
Like, 40,000 people?
Yeah, 40, 50,000, and it's a huge campus, and all of your classes are in different locations, and like there's so many different people. And the great thing about NYFO is you were put with people that had like minds to you, and you could really talk and grow and push yourselves to a new limit, because we were all doing the same thing. So we were all understanding of each other's problems and understanding of we're all doing the same work, and we're all together at the same time. Whereas my sister has friends who are nurses and engineers, and so they don't understand her journalism and that kind of thing. Right. So that was really nice to have a school that was strictly for the arts, and I think that was my biggest factor in applying. So I was thankful for it.
I agree. I mean, I love NYFA. And,
yeah.
Shout out to NYFA. We appreciate the education that we got there.
No, and I mean, one of the biggest factors, growing at NYFA was such a huge thing for me, and all the teachers in the classes, and like doing the stunts program, that really helped me channel a lot of my anxieties, and there's sometimes where I'd freak out with the physicality of it because your heart's racing, but it really gave me a center of balance doing the stunts program and having that kind of power.
I feel the same way.
Yeah.
That changed my life.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, it literally changed my life. I lost 100 pounds because of it. But so I'm super thankful. But I have a center of gravity now, physically and mentally, because of and it's not a stunts program that you'd see at any other school.
That's right. And it helped me to focus, and I had trouble focusing, ADD, whatever.
Right.
I mean, who knows what's wrong, but I do have trouble focusing, and that really helped me.
Yeah.
Because if you don't focus when you're doing stunts, you
got a black eye and you're on the floor. So.
But I guess my final question for you, Elizabeth, is what can you tell others that are suffering from this same anxiety disorder, who want to have a career, who want to get out in the world and
Right.
accomplish things. What can they do?
I mean, my first thing is don't let society tell you what you have to do. Don't because there's so many pressures in the world on what you have to do by when and how. And for someone who has generalized anxiety, because anxieties, there's normal anxieties, you need to get your bills paid, you need to move, those are normal anxieties. And a lot of things that people don't understand about anxiety, social anxiety, anxiety disorders, panic disorders, is that there's so much going on in your mind that you can't control. And you don't necessarily need medication for it. If you take medication, that's 100% okay. But having the pressures of the world saying, oh, well, I have anxiety too, it's like, but it's so different. It's your energy level becomes so low and you don't know how to talk. It could be as simple as you're sitting at a party and all of a sudden you just don't want to be there. And my advice, and it took a lot of, I didn't go to parties in college until my third semester, till I was like 19.
Really?
Yeah, because I couldn't be around that many people. I still have fear of parties unless I have a friend come with me. And so my advice to that is do it at your pace, and don't be encumbered by fear, though. Like Miss McKay taught me. Do not be encumbered by the fear, because acknowledge it, take it, take yourself out of a situation if you really think that you can't solve it in the situation that you're in, and don't force yourself to do things until you're ready to do them. I didn't force myself to apply to colleges until I was ready to apply to colleges. And, at a certain point you do. Like, school started in September. I had to move out here. Like, I couldn't wait any longer. But, I put yourself and find a way to do it that works for you, because there's no one formula for life. There's no one formula. And for some reason, society puts this one formula on us. And if the one formula worked, we wouldn't have people that freak out. We wouldn't have people that have problems. So clearly that one formula doesn't work. You have to find what works for you, and and if you have to explain it to the people around you, explain it to the people around you, until they understand it, because, people don't understand anxiety on the level that's not normal anxiety, and that's what I did my thesis about. And it's very important to keep talking about it and keep just doing you. I mean, don't be aggressive about it, but if you're not comfortable, say you're not comfortable and continue on. Don't let other people pressure you into doing something and that goes for everything. Don't let anybody pressure you into doing something you don't want to do. But in particular to panic disorders and etc., do it at your pace. I was lucky that, my pace worked for going to college at 18, but if it didn't, oh well, that's life, and you'll find your way.
Well, I really appreciate all of this advice Elizabeth has given us.
I was rambling.
But it's so important, and I had panic attacks at NYFA.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I did too, in class.
I remember having meltdowns. It became overwhelming. There was so much going on, and I left behind, I came from the East Coast as well, and I left behind a lot of baggage.
Right.
And that baggage kept contacting me. And it was always so difficult trying to not get sucked into these problems back at home that I couldn't fix. I couldn't do anything about it, but yet I felt overwhelmed by it.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing that I think too that's hard is not only, college is hard. You're gonna have mental breakdowns, but then you take a normal mental breakdown, you add on the fact that like you have a panic disorder or you have social anxiety, and you have to deal with both of those at the same time. It's not easy. It's very draining. You have to figure out how to calm yourself down, and sometimes it takes a couple of days, and a lot of people don't understand that, and it seems like you're being rude or you're ignoring them, and it's like, no, I literally just need, I need 2 or 3 days to recuperate from that party. Not because I'm hungover, but because there was a lot of people there, and it's a lot of energy that was taken out. And on top of it, I've got finals and exams, and, and even in the real world outside of college, just the pressures of regular life on top of having that. It's just, it can be really hard, but, don't let the fear encumber you.
And thank God for teachers like Mrs. McKay,
Miss McKay, yes.
and some of my teachers at NYFA really.
Oh yeah.
They really helped me.
Yeah.
I never had teachers that seemed to reach out to me. And
Mm-hmm.
I've been to many school programs as well. You know, it's this is my master's, and I never had teachers that really. It really felt like they cared enough to find out, well, what's going on with you?
Right.
Why are you having this issue?
Yeah, I mean, well, that's the great thing about the small school and having teachers who are also actors. So not only are they able to really get to know you, but on top of it, they understand the pressure of the actor's mind and the actor's world and that kind of thing, which I really appreciated having. I mean, that's the whole. I grew into a totally different person in 3.5 years. 2.5 years, whatever. Totally
and I've
different
watched
person.
you, because I met you freshman year, I think.
Yeah.
And I was in my first year as a grad student, and
Yeah.
you've come a long way, baby. Which is why I wanted you to come and tell us about
Thank
your
you.
journey. So thank you so much,
Thank
Elizabeth.
you.
You are just a wonderful person. She's a great actress and singer. So
Thank you.
thank you, Elizabeth.